Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again. More transfer news coming your way. Today, we have something which is by far more than ideal. In fact, PINTO has started the deal between Roma and Atletico Madrid to try and bring De Paul to our team. The deal has started this morning, and in the last couple of days, Thiago Pinto gathered information about De Paul, and today, this morning, the deal between the two sides has officially started. It's gonna be a tough deal, and we'll talk about this. Is probably why it's probably gonna be one of the toughest deals when it comes to this summer. So we'll definitely talk about that. And yeah, we'll talk about this news. So if you haven't already, smash the like button and yeah, subscribe if you're new. So the first thing to acknowledge, right, is the fact that Celik is basically done. We basically have a new right back under the name of Celik. In fact, he will be announced. There will basically be the confirmation this weekend, which means that the player can arrive next week, do his medical checkups, and then become a new player and join the team immediately at the start of July to prepare for friendly matches the best way possible. Now, when it comes to friendly matches up to now, just to say, just to keep you updated, the confirmed friendly matches are in Israel, in Tel Aviv against Tottenham, which is around the 30th of July. We have got a friendly match which will most probably take place the 24th of July in Lisbon against Sporting Lisbon. And we have this kind of friendly tournament, the Gamper tournament, between Barcelona and Roma, and which will take place the 6th of August in Barcelona at Camp Nou. And yeah, basically it is a friendly trophy, but it's still a trophy, ladies and gentlemen. And it's one of those friendly trophies, friendly tournaments to start the season the best way possible. Barcelona invited Roma the 6th of August at their own ground. They actually invited the female team as well. So our female team will play against their female team, and our main team will play against their main team. 2 matches, and it's something called the Gamper Trophy. So that's when it comes to friendly matches. This is why it's important to get as many players as possible, especially if our intention is to buy a lot of players. It is important to get most of these players as soon as, to get them in front of Mourinho and the other teammates quickest as possible. Because, once again, we've said it many times, the communication this season played a big part in the downfall of the start. We lost so many points over the course of the start of the season, and this is why communication needs to be maximized this summer. But today, I want to talk about transfer news once again. Now, it is important to acknowledge one thing. There has been a deal. The deal has started between Roma and Atletico Madrid. However, it is very, very, very important to acknowledge one thing. And this is something which has been confirmed by Di Marzio and another Sky Sports Italy journalist 1 hour ago. There has been, the deal between Atletico Madrid and Roma has started. However, Roma's priority is to buy Frattesi in the midfielder. And that is why I'll get into explaining in a bit, but Roma's priority right now is buying Frattesi. So the deal has started in case the Frattesi deal collapses. But the priority right now, and this is something extremely important to note down, is the fact that the priority right now remains Frattesi. So right now, De Paul and right now Awar are all backup options in case the Frattesi deal collapses. And I'm going to talk about why the Frattesi deal could collapse. But right now the priority is that. Now, once again, that does not mean that if we buy Frattesi, then that's it with their midfielder. Because I still do expect some other players that we will buy in our transfer when it comes to midfielders. But definitely something which will happen is that if we buy Frattesi, a player like De Paul won't come. Because if we buy Frattesi, then we're definitely not going to spend around £40 million to buy De Paul as well. So right now, it is very important to acknowledge the fact that the priority remains Frattesi. And De Paul is a backup option in case the Frattesi deal collapses. And now, I'll be honest with you, my opinion, obviously you know that, I think it should be the other way around. I think Frattesi should be a backup option to De Paul, because I think De Paul is clear of Frattesi. I think we need a player like De Paul more than a player like Frattesi, and then we'll talk about De Paul's characteristics in a bit. But the only reason why I think Roma really wants Frattesi, apart from him, is the fact that we want to bring an extra player in our team again. He knows the Serie A really well. He knows the fans really well. We want to do a similar deal with Pellegrini when he was at Sassuolo and we brought him back. That is the general idea around Frattesi. But it is very important to acknowledge this, because there are going to be people out there which, you know, if we buy Frattesi, then expect a player like De Paul. No, that won't happen. If we buy Frattesi, we will potentially buy another midfielder, but it definitely won't be someone around 40 million to 50 million euros. So yeah, priority is Frattesi. That is very important to acknowledge. And Frattesi is, you know, you see, we're having backup options because Frattesi, I'm going to talk about how it could be that the Frattesi deal will collapse. It's because of Sassuolo's price. Now, Sassuolo are asking a fair amount of money for Frattesi, 30 million euros. Roma is definitely not keen to spend that. What Roma's trying to do is pay some money, so around 15 to 20 million euros, and then add in like an academy player, which goes to Sassuolo. And right now, the big names that Roma is kind of focusing on as players which could then be added to the price tag and sent to Sassuolo, or either Felix, either Volpato, or either Bove. So what Roma's trying to do is, what Roma's trying to make Sassuolo understand is that they're not going to pay £30 million. That is the most important thing to acknowledge. Roma won't spend 30 million euros on Frattesi. Sassuolo cannot decrease the 30 million price tag, but they need to also understand that Roma won't offer 30 million euros for Frattesi. Because I think, you know, Roma does want Frattesi back, but Roma does know that buying Frattesi back when we had him in our own background and paying 30 million is a lot. So they're trying to compromise stuff. Yes, I can pay you some money, but instead of paying you the entire price, I will pay you some, and then I'll stick in a few players, maybe 1-2 players, which could be useful to Sassuolo. And every player which I've mentioned before, so Felix Volpato or Bove, I think would suit extremely well for Sassuolo. I think Sassuolo, we said it before, are really good at growing young players and reselling them to make a bigger profit. And it's something very important to understand. Sassuolo love doing that. That's the philosophy of Sassuolo Football Club. They get young players, get in good positions with young players, grow these young players, and then sell these young players for a bigger profit. That's what Sassuolo do. So I think any of these three players would perfectly fit Sassuolo's project. Or Trippi as well, as William says in the chat. William, you are right. Trippi as well. Now, that is why the Frattesi deal could collapse. Because if Sassuolo goes, right, I'm not interested in any of your players, I think it is hard for Sassuolo to do that, because I think any of these players would fit Sassuolo, as I said. But if Sassuolo hypothetically goes, no, you need to pay me the 30 million euros, then that is where the deal will collapse. That is where Roma won't be paying 30 million for Frattesi. And that is where our backup options come handy. And right now, you know, a few months ago, we talked about how we had Bissouma, which is now a Tottenham player, so that won't happen. We talked about Ruben Neves potentially, but Wolverhampton has set a 100 million price tag for that guy. You can keep him, so that's not happening. Douglas Luiz is still an opportunity, but Douglas Luiz, once again, is the most expensive one. So I'd say right now, the big midfielder hunt is between Frattesi, De Paul, and Houssem Aouar. It's between these three players. If we buy Frattesi, then De Paul and Aouar won't happen, but a kind of a lower player will happen. Someone like, I don't know. But if we buy Frattesi, then we will buy another midfielder, in my opinion, but it definitely won't be someone, you know, that big. So I think, I'll be honest with you, I think De Paul is the exact player we need. He is. He truly is. Now, talking about the deal, Roma have started the deal between them and Atletico Madrid to try and convince De Paul to join Roma. Now, the big thing which pops up is the price. However, if you look at his price and you look at Frattesi's price, then I think this is still my opinion, right? I think I've got this view of Frattesi not being that good. That's just the way it is. I've been downfalling that Frattesi a lot, but I've been watching the Serie A this season and he hasn't convinced me. I would much rather spend, for example, 5 more million euros to buy De Paul than to buy Frattesi, if you see what I mean. So yes, the price tag is quite high. It's around 35 to 40 million pounds. But if we need to spend either way 30 million euros to buy Frattesi, then I would much rather spend 5 million euros more than expected and buy a better player than Frattesi, a more complete player. De Paul is the prototype player we need. Aggressive, that's what Mourinho loves. Defensive midfielder, he can play that. He can play as an attacking midfielder as well. Knows a lot of experienced tournaments, is now gonna play, if he stays at Atletico Madrid, the Champions League, play the Champions League this season, is a league contender in La Liga in Spain, plays in the Argentinian national team with big players like Messi, Di Maria, De Paul and all of these players. He knows what experience means. He used to play in the Serie A, so he's got the Serie A experience. He used to play like 2 years ago for Udinese. He, I think, is a player we need. So, if a big if a decision comes towards me, which goes, do I spend 30 million for Frattesi or 35 million for De Paul? 35 million for De Paul without thinking it twice. He's a way more complete player. That is why I think he would fit in Roma way better than what Frattesi would fit, in my opinion. And I think Mourinho enjoyed him more than Frattesi. Mourinho has said the second Thiago Pinto has started contacts with De Paul, Mourinho has 100% accepted everything. Mourinho would love to train De Paul. And also, something which... lads, I need to turn the AC on. I'm absolutely roasting. Give me a sec. There we go. It is so hot. Right, there we go. It's so hot. It is so hot. Look at that. So yeah. One positive thing when it comes to the De Paul deal is that he would actually not earn that much. His wages are totally within Roma's standards. Because I think Roma's standards of wages are around 3 to 4 million. De Paul would earn less than 4 million euros. That, when it comes to wages, is a success. That is what Roma need when it comes to wages. So the wage problem will definitely not be a problem, and that is something which everyone is confirming. The only big thing is to try and convince Atletico Madrid, because Atletico Madrid don't mind selling him. It's paying Atletico Madrid. That is the only big exclamation mark. But as I said before, if we need to spend 30 million euros to sign Frattesi, then I think we can find an agreement around 35 million and buy that. So yeah, that's how I feel like it. Now, another thing which I must add is that when Thiago Pinto has started his contacts with Atletico Madrid this morning, to try and convince Atletico Madrid, to try and start a negotiation for De Paul, one thing which must be added is that Thiago Pinto has also gathered and asked information to Atletico Madrid about Saul Niguez. Used to play for Atletico Madrid, was on loan, got loaned to Chelsea, if I'm not wrong. This winter completely disappointed Chelsea fans, and now is back at Atletico Madrid. So, yes, another thing which needs to be addressed is the fact that Thiago Pinto, as well as De Paul, has also asked information about Saul Niguez, which could potentially be another option. So, once again, I think the midfielder option right now is between Frattesi, which is priority, as I said before. It is the priority. It's not just me inventing it. It's what Roma's mentality is. Frattesi is the priority. After that, if the Frattesi deal collapses, then it's one between right now, the 17th of June. If Frattesi deal collapses, it's gonna be one between Aouar, De Paul, and Saul, which is by far the last option out of the three players. But yeah, that's just the way it is. Once again, can I just address something? I'm really liking Thiago Pinto's approach to this transfer market because he's being very active. Now, being this active in a transfer market is good, and I can't stress this enough. Really, I can't. If the more players we get to Roma, to Trigoria, to Mourinho, by the time the preseason starts, the better it will be. Now, you might say, who cares about this? It is important, and this season has been a perfect example of this. Now, over the course of September, October, November, December, how many points did we lose against small clubs just because our communication was shite? It is important to get players the quickest way possible. I mean, not obviously rushing everything. Good players at the start. So that's just the way it is. Can someone please tell me, is Frattesi really worth it? Because seeing Italian games, I am not sure. I'm not sure either. I'm totally agree with you. If I need to decide between him and De Paul, it's De Paul 99%. But Frattesi used to play for Roma, has got this Roma heart. It's really keen in joining back Roma. His mom is really keen in joining back Roma, which, I mean, who really cares about her? But yeah, Mourinho has said that pointing your eyes on Frattesi is good. Mourinho is happy if Frattesi comes. He is someone who definitely pays more attention to the attack side. He's a midfielder, right? He's a central midfielder, but he plays more attention when it comes to scoring, which does leave a big gap in the defensive section. De Paul, on the other hand, is way more aggressive than him, and I think personally, it is a player we need. We also need a creative player, but Frattesi is not creative. If we need to buy a creative player, then not Frattesi. If we need to buy a creative player, then it's definitely like someone like Aouar or someone. So when it comes, this is more De Paul can play both defensive and attacking, but I think he's better at defensive, and I wouldn't mind him. He's very aggressive. It's what Mourinho loves. It's one of those players which Mourinho really loves. Fabrizio Romano confirms Bissouma to Tottenham. Confirmed. Here we go. Right, let's see some comments. I love that we're playing Sporting. That's my Portuguese club. Also, did you hear that Fulham has got agreement with Sporting to sign Paulinho for only 80 million plus add-ons? Haven't heard of that. Paulinho can still reject it though. He hasn't personally agreed, but I would take Paulinho for 80 million euros any day. I do love Matic though. I would maybe sell Cristante if I get Paulinho. Interesting. Could Cristante become a backup option for a centre back too? Cristante has played a centre back. The thing is, he's not too good at it because he's very slow. So it is a risk. I mean, in case of emergencies, right? In case Smalling, Mancini, Ibanez, and a future defender we buy all get injured, then Cristante can play a centre back, but it's not ideal. Looks like Celik is on the verge of being done. Yes, Celik will be confirmed this weekend and is ready to fly in this next week to do his medical checkups. Is Aouar still on? It is still on. I think it's. I've said it. I think it's a really midfielder. It's a big midfielder hunt between Frattesi, Aouar, and De Paul right now at time of recording. It can change any time. We've seen so many players linked, but right now, the 17th of June, it's between De Paul, Aouar, and Frattesi. But Roma is prioritizing Frattesi, and that is something to acknowledge and to understand. We don't need a potential future star. We need a player ready for center mid. 50 million for Frattesi at the most, not more than that. I totally agree. If we need to spend 30 million straight cash for Frattesi, it's a no for me. If we've paid 10, 50 million and add a few players, then I can understand it, but I would still point my eyes on De Paul. I think he's clear of Frattesi. I personally think we need more experienced players. Frattesi is definitely a risk, and if it doesn't work out, you will look like a fool. Yes. I think Mourinho likes Frattesi, but I don't personally. We need Sanchez from Tottenham. He's good, and we need a centre back. Yeah, that's a good option. Yeah. Simon, do you watch Formula One? No. Formula One, motorcycles, that is the most boring. I've got friends who sit on a flipping sofa and watch the entire lap. Like, not the entire lap, the entire race. God, I'd fall asleep after 2 laps. I mean, it's, plus in Formula 1 they never surpass each other, so I don't see it that exciting. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you soon. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button. Let's try and get 5,000 subscribers as fast as possible. And also smash the like button in this live stream as well. Follow me on Instagram over there in the orange box over at Simon_ASR_. And yeah, let me know in the comments of the video if you like Frattesi, De Paul, or Husam Awar better.